I couldn't wait, so I made something slightly stupid. With the Steam Machine coming this half, whatever that means, I've been so excited for the darn thing that I got a little bit impatient. I don't know if any of you can relate, but that doesn't really matter because I doubt any of you would waste your time or money on what I ended up making. This is what I have affectionately dubbed the Stream Machine. So I was scrolling through Maker World and I found this awesome Steam Machine chassis I could print. It would only take around 75 hours on my piece of crap, but still usable Ender printer. So I decided I needed to make up a reason to print it. So I went onto Amazon and I found the first mini PC I could that would support SteamOS game mode, and I impulse bought it with the grand plan to take it apart and rebuild it inside of this little case, and then nickname the darn thing my Stream Machine, because it's not powerful enough to play basically anything from the last decade without streaming it from my main gaming rig. Stream Machine. I felt really clever for a while before realizing just how much work it is to mount a mini PC into anything other than its own enclosure. So I took a long, hard look at the mini PC and I realized the whole thing would fit into the body of the Steam Machine print without me having to take apart the mini PC at all. So that's what I did. The smart ones of you will notice very quickly how dumb of an idea this was. I spent the better part of a week and around $350 to make a modern Steam Link. If you think I'm an idiot, but you still watch my videos, I could use a subscription and a like. You don't actually have to like me, but gosh darn it, I am positive my stupidity this time has earned it. Also, for the keen-eyed, you might have noticed that my chair changed recently. This video is brought to you by FlexiSpot. I probably spend anywhere from 8 to 12 hours a day in a chair. Between my day job, editing, recording, gaming, and I am seated for an embarrassing amount of my life. And for a long time, I'd been looking for a chair that was actually built for that. When FlexiSpot reached out, I was literally in the middle of looking for a new chair. Here's my own one for reference. I and my cats have been beating it up for years, and I was due for a replacement. Enter FlexiSpot. They sent me the C7 Morpher, and I've been using it for a few weeks now, and I wanted to walk you through why I love the darn thing. The headrest is 3D adjustable with a 135-degree tilt. You can angle it to actually support your neck or your head. The standout feature is the Flex Lean upper back support. Most ergonomic chairs have a fixed upper back section. The Flex Lean adjusts forward up to 10 degrees to wrap your upper back, and it's height adjustable on top of that. And the seat is a material 30% more breathability and 20% less hip pressure than standard foam. Noticeably softer than I expected. This is a solid chair for the kind of setup that I run. They back it with a 10-year warranty, direct part replacement. It isn't just a send it in and wait type of policy. It comes with a 30-day return policy as well. Link is in the description and I'll have a card up for mobile. They have a whole lineup of featured, dense, and certainly comfortable office chairs, such as the C7 or C5 lineup. Huge thanks to FlexiSpot for sending me this great chair as well as sponsoring this video. So why did I choose the mini PC specifically that I did for this? AMD is the whole reason I picked it up. It's got basically out-of-the-box support for the Steam Deck recovery image, or in my case, Bazzite with game mode. It also needed to fit inside of this little cute enclosure without needing any kind of soldering. So at least I had the foresight to do that much. But to be honest, the shell has evolved. Well, devolved into basically a box that I just stick the PC in rather than replacing the case the thing came with like I originally planned. It fits basically perfectly front and side, and I could probably stack another one in here on top of it and still have headroom. The hardware fits. But what is this thing actually doing? I'll get to that, but first I want to talk about how in-home streaming is older than you think. Valve already made basically this exact product before, but in a better form factor. Do you remember the original Steam Link? It was basically a mini PC running exclusively the Steam Link app, purpose-built for in-home game streaming. At least the quality of in-home game streaming from 10 years ago. It launched in 2015, a $50 box that streamed your PC to your TV. Valve killed it in 2018, but not because the concept failed. The hardware died, the software didn't. They took this idea and went, a smart TV can run this app. So that's what they did. They made the Steam Link app and shipped it so everything under the sun, phones, tablets, smart TVs, even my Apple TV got the app. What I'm doing with the mini PC is the same thing that the Steam Link did. just with a $350 computer running game mode instead of a $50 dedicated box, or their free app, because I am incredibly smart and not at all a moron. I chose Bazzite because I wanted to do a little light on-device gaming. Plus, it boots in seconds, the same compatibility as official SteamOS, and I still get to use Steam input. I wanted game mode so I could leverage the great UI and easy sleep mode. However, there is one small problem with my execution. Wi-Fi and Bluetooth don't work, and I haven't figured out yet how to install the drivers to make it work. Because not only am I an idiot, I'm lazy too. I encountered a lot of problems before I even got the thing working in the first place. Whenever I tried to stream games from my gaming rig to this stream machine, I had issues with input. For some reason, my host PC would request my password to allow Steam to control input devices. So I'd just be sitting in bed trying to play some game and have to pop on over to my office to approve the stream and back again. I probably messed with everything that I could in the settings for 2 to 3 hours before I realized the error message was telling me that terminal was the permission asking to control input devices, not Steam. Turns out I launched Steam from the terminal instead of the normal method. So no, this is not something anyone would encounter if they tried to do this at home, because you, I assume, are all smarter than I am. So after fixing that by just clicking on the Steam icon instead of using a terminal like I thought I was some cool 90s hacker, this thing has been 100% reliable ever since. On an Ethernet connection, the streaming just works. It feels like native gaming to me. There is one thing I didn't expect to work without a bunch of hassle though. Sleep and wake was the thing that impressed me. I never actually shut this thing down. I basically only sleep it because with the Steam controller, it just works. Well, not as well as the actual Steam machine will. It does take 2 button presses instead of 1. TV remote and then the Steam controller. Gosh darn it, it's close. And that's because the OG Steam controller came with a little USB dongle, and this mini PC supports waking from USB, which is apparently on by default, so I didn't even have to go into the BIOS to turn it on. I really didn't expect that. I didn't think I'd just be able to turn on my TV, hit the Steam button on my Steam controller, and get right back in the game. It reminded me of the original Steam Link. You just picked up the controller and it was there. The experience is pretty good. The question is whether the experience justifies the build, and you probably know what my answer to that is. What I actually want is the real Steam machine. I've mentioned this before, but my gaming rig is now 8 years old, and that when the Steam machine itself actually comes out, it'll be way more powerful and smaller and quieter, and it'll use significantly less power. Not to mention, it will support 1 button boot on wake and turn on the TV, and my desktop does not. To be completely honest, this project was just an excuse to print one of these bad boys. A 1-to-1 replica of the Steam machine. I just wanted to see what it looked like in my space, and poor print quality aside, I think it looks amazing. The Stream machine is just a placeholder, a physical joke I made while waiting for the thing that I actually want. So, if you want to continue to see me make a fool of myself and try random stuff out and talk about how excited I am for the upcoming tech, you'll want to subscribe. I'm pumped for the Steam machine, and I'll be buying it on day 1. And if any of you work for Valve, I'd 100% be willing to stick a real version of this darn thing in my house early and never tell anyone until it's out. Seriously, I'd take one for the team. If you'd love to see Valve do that, hit that subscribe button below, leave a comment, and watch this video again. Maybe Valve, probably not, will make it happen. Because you shouldn't actually make one of these. Seriously, there's no reason to buy a mini PC just to stick it in a 3D printed box. If you want to make a stream machine, get a used Steam Deck and a cheap dock. It'll work a lot better. Plus, it'll be much faster than having to install SteamOS or Bazzite and then spend an entire afternoon troubleshooting a problem caused by you pretending to be a cool Linux nerd. Or you could just use something you already have sitting around, like a Raspberry Pi or something. The 3D printed chassis is useful for one thing and one thing only: a 1-to-1 size reference for the actual Steam machine, before you can actually hold the real one. If you want to know what that form factor feels like, on a shelf, on your desk, or by your TV, have a 3D printer and print it. It'll be cheaper than my entire project already. And I don't even know why I chose to stream to my TV anyway. It's not like my wife ever wants to watch me game on the TV when we could be watching a show together. At least, not until I play something with her. Maybe I should get her a Steam Deck. And then I'd have to justify the cost. Hey, if you want to find out what a non-gamer thinks of the Steam Deck, maybe I'll get one and give it to my wife and make a video about it. When the real Steam Machine ships, the Stream Machine will sit somewhere as decoration because I actually really do like this little box. The Stream Machine was a bad excuse to 3D print something and say a pun. It worked, but it actually did a good job at proving something to me. In-home streaming is really fetching good. The Steam Link had the right idea a decade ago, and Valve has kept building the software, and it's actually really usable. $350 and 75 hours of print time to learn that I just want the actual Steam Machine. It's worth it. Probably. Maybe I should just return this mini PC and get a used Steam Deck. What do you think? Are you waiting for the official Steam Machine or building something in the meantime? Are you more interested in your Steam Machine for your desk or for your TV? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. FlexiSpot's spring sale is now happening with up to 70% off. Use code C730 for an extra $30 off. Now's the perfect time to grab the FlexiSpot C7 Morpher.